Good morning, everyone. I'm just here to do the market recap here. So let's dive in right into some analysis. And as you guys can probably tell, we had a pretty big sell-off on Friday. That kind of wrap up the week. And we could get a gap down on Monday, but it might mark the low, right? If we get another gap down and panic selling, it could definitely mark the low. But we have to be careful here. Because if it does want to extend lower, it definitely could. There are lower targets that can be hit right at 3386 on the DIA, which we already hit, by the way. It would just mark a secondary target that can go as low as 360. Now, we don't really want too much acceleration towards the downside because it could start to cascade into a panic sell market, market crash kind of thing. And you got to be careful. We got to be really careful here. The markets are on edge. Let's take a look with the daily. Right? If they crash past this level here, it's going to be very scary. Some people are saying no, there's a huge chance of a bounce, but we really don't know. We really don't know what's going to happen. And it's best to just stay on the sidelines until things stabilize here instead of trying to catch a falling knife. Who knew that this short area would turn into this kind of move? It's really rare that you always get these kinds of sell-offs. I mean, we did it on the Qs back here. I don't know if you guys remember, but this short setup was very similar on the Qs. This one we were able to catch, and we pulled the trigger on it, but it did end up playing out like a crazy short, so we closed out with profit. Unfortunately, we didn't catch this one. I didn't pull trigger on it. Now the Qs are getting very close to their target. Actually, talking about the Qs, it's between 419 and 476. I think you should start to see some sort of stabilization or deceleration in the sell-off. People should start to calm down a little bit. But again, we really don't know. We're breaking massive supports, massive trend lines. It's panic selling and margin calls across the board, right? So, in those kinds of situations, it's really hard to gauge, how much lower you could go because there's so much volatility and emotions involved, and we're not seeing like VIX positioning saying that we're gonna stop selling off. Let me see here. Look at a few other things on the SPY. The SPY again is in its buy area as well. It's a big range. It could retest these highs here. What's going on my my line? Okay, I might have to restart my trading view because sometimes this happens. My lines move like crazy, so I might just have to pause and just restart the video. Not restart video, but restart my trading view. All right, just resuming the video here. Yeah, it looks like there was some sort of bug, I guess. But anyways, we retested. We're gonna probably retest some resistance levels here. Back down at 458 if this level doesn't hold. Again, I think we're getting to an extreme here, where it should start to slow down. But if this turns into a market crash and we hit stock market breakers, yeah, of course, there's no chart to really kind of tell you and gauge like, oh, this is gonna be the bottom for sure. Like, what if it goes down to these levels? Like, like shit, like we're gonna be in freaking trouble, huh? But I don't think that's gonna happen. But we'll see. I cannot tell you with certainty, 100% guarantee what's gonna happen in the market. No one can, especially in conditions like this. The IWM was one that we've been charting very nicely. There were areas that we got great short opportunities, right? And there are areas where some of our targets didn't hit, which kind of emphasized how bearish the IWM was. And this indice, I'm not really interested until we get back. Man, all my trend lines move. It's kind of annoying. At least we get back to 144 on the IWM, and that's a long ways away, right? So it's got lots of impulses left to go. So it feels like the IWM could suffer for a long time before it's all said and done. You could get probably some bounces, some sideways chop, but most likely more downside. The TLT was a trade that we took inside the Discord. So this one's doing really well for us. Again, the buy was at 88, and then we've been riding it up since then. Again, this was basically essentially like a short on the indices, right? Because people are running into bonds at the moment, but they're not running into the bonds like I thought they would. Like, we're seeing gap ups, but people are selling into these gap ups, right? And like when we saw like a market crash in like 2020, the bonds were really running up, right? And we're not seeing that right now. We're like seeing gap ups, but people are selling into it, which kind of tells me people have no interest in holding bonds right now, like US bonds. So if people don't want to hold US bonds, that's a problem. But the yields need to go down. Like, I think Trump won't stop until he gets what he wants from Powell, which is lower rates. And I think he doesn't care to what extent he's going to tank the market. He just wants lower rates. So maybe until the rates get into this area, we may not see a bottom in the market. The SMH finally made its way down to the 180s. Again, these are unbelievable people did not think that this could happen. Again, the charts always hold true in the end, and right now we've hit our first SMH target. Now, I want to warn people too, because some people think that it's just a set target and it can't go lower than that. It very much can go a little bit lower. Just because I have a box here, it doesn't. I had it like as a tight box, but really the box could extend to as low as 140, right? So it's a big accumulation long-term range. I think this one is a short-term target, and I think it did tag it, right? So you see, if you zoom in on the short-term target, this has been here in all my videos for weeks now. And if you see that we went right to the target at 178, and we got some good reaction off of it. But does it mark the low? Like, I don't think so. I think we've got a nice bounce, but it might not be the low because there's just so much volatility. It can go lower, and that's why we have a wide range box. It's an accumulation zone. Let's take a look at gold. So gold actually looks like it ended its first wave 3 here. So it's coming to some sort of like a finishing move. Let's take a look here. So I have it as an ABC with a actually I had as a tight ABC. Now it's morphed into something else. WXY. So let's take a look. Let's do some quick calculations here of where this could go. So it hit the buy area on Friday. It remains to be seen if this is going to hold. If it's going to hold, that's great. But a lot of this weighs on the dollar holding its current level. It should not strengthen. If the dollar strengthens, we're going to have a problem, right? So I think it could have ended here, right here. It's actually a nice potential buy area for gold. I've already exited my gold position around the 3,100 area, and rightfully so. We kind of avoided a big pullback in gold, but it could still be in for another fifth wave here. So there could still be highs coming for gold. We just don't know if this is the low just yet. But again, you have a great risk reward, right? You just buy here, and if it goes down, 2%, then you stop out. Silver is a different story. Silver, again, I still thought that it was inside of this X wave. It looks like I've been vindicated on Friday and Tuesday and Thursday, because right now we're getting this major collapse in this Y leg, and this is exactly what you want to see in a pullback like this. So the target is actually a little bit higher because we've actually pushed up so much. So the target is actually only right about $20.58. But it could go lower, right? The Y leg could extend. It could double correct, right? It could form a bigger connector. So it could do all these things. And if that's the case, then the wave 2 is not in just yet. So we've been trading silver quite nicely, but I think silver could definitely go lower. Nothing is set in stone here. We could easily come back to 21. Let's take a look at oil. So oil, have oil here. Oil looks like the bullish scenario did not play out. We're going this more bearish case. We're going to extend down into the 57s and the 48s. So we just want to look at these targets, and if they hit, then we can pull the trigger on some buys, some positions, and we'll go from there. Let's take a look at USD/JPY. So by far the most important chart in the entire market. Right now, the Japanese yen is deleveraging, right? You saw a big deleveraging event as well. I think you're going to get another USD/JPY push lower. I think what we had here was some sort of a flat, right? And an ABC, and now it should be finished. If that's the case, we're gonna get a pretty big extension down. Like I think we're gonna get a pretty big leg down here. Like at the very least, we're going down to 142. If it topped out on Friday, which it very well could have, because this was the short area for the yen. So if it's finished here, your next move should be down into the 142s. And again, this is going to put more pressure on equities, right? This could accelerate the selling because everyone's levered up on the carry trade. Everyone's borrowing from the Japan, the yen. And the yen strengthening will make them sell equities to pay back the yen. Anyways, let's take a look at GameStop. So GameStop was up on Friday. Very nice move higher. Now we want to be careful here on GameStop because it could have finished in its B wave here, right? In a possible flat scenario. You see how we took out the low? Now it becomes a flat. The flat target is usually the 1.236, and look where we hit, right? I'm not moving anything. This is where we hit the $23.82. What did we hit on this candle? We hit $23.84, 2 pennies, off by 2 pennies. So did GameStop just top out? And GameStop's been trading essentially alongside Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin had a nice move higher. It was strong throughout the day, and GameStop was essentially the same thing. It was holding up very well on Friday, and if it's holding up very well, and it doesn't mind the market crash, I think that if Bitcoin does crash, you're gonna get a big move down in GameStop. Now I think if that happens, your target is gonna be $14.68 from this level from the calculations that I was able to get. Yeah. I mean, I'm doing it a little bit fast right now, so okay, I guess $14.85. So it can go as low as $9.30. So if it wicks down all the way here, like the $10, like that could definitely happen. Don't be shocked that it can't happen. And it's funny because GameStop is always halted on the way up, but they never halted on the way down. They just let it fall. They don't mind it falling, which is kind of weird. I guess it's the market metrics. It needs to fall by a certain amount for them to halt it, and a certain amount of minutes. Take a look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is playing out in the bearish scenario. It's continuing to impulse down. It's going to be forming 3s and 4s here and there, but could easily continue to extend lower. Take a look at the larger time frames. We're clearly in the third wave. So again, this is a classic C leg towards the downside. I put the target here at 78 when we were at 140, 130s. Again, people thought they were unthinkable. You're never going to hit that level. It's not going to happen. Now it seems very realistic because we're only a couple 20% away. It's still a lot down, but we're getting much closer. Right, so I think when we hit these levels, the semis could really start to stabilize, and NVIDIA can still make new highs afterwards. Tesla, Tesla is a very difficult trade right now. I have it in some sort of like other connector again. It's trading in 3s, so it's really tough to kind of gauge where this is all gonna go. But I'm thinking it does something like this. AMD is already in my buy area. I think it could extend lower though. You got to be careful because if you erase divergence, oh my god, this wave 3 is going to move down to here, and this was just another 1-2. but I have it finishing soon. It could, if it wants to come down a little bit lower, this move should start to complete itself, right? And you'll finish all of these waves, right? AMD will come to an end, maybe 74, maybe 78. I don't know. It really depends on the market. If the markets continue to capitulate, then it'll extend lower. It'll go to the 60s, right? And that's, I mean, I feel like that's too bearish. Like, man, what are you gonna do? Like, go back to the 2022 lows? I mean, that's what we're kind of doing right now. But I think this is the final. This should be the final capitulation move. Let's take a look. Oh man, 3. Okay, as long as you remain above this pivot, it should be okay. If you take out this pivot on the RSI, either this is not 5 waves, or it becomes a connector in 3 waves, which would have to relabel. But I could do that because we've been getting rejected on 3-wave moves up. But it'll be a lot of work. But I that would be extremely bearish, which means it could really just continue to capitulate. But once you get full RSI erasal, it completes. It deletes everything, right? It'll finish on a massive leg down, and it'll bounce back up the very next day, and then the following days you'll get tons of buyers. Intel doesn't look good. Again, I had this in a 1-2. It looks like we're headed down to $8. Again, it seems unthinkable for Intel. Not sure why I would do that, but that's the target that I've had for a while, and I'm going to maintain it. Nubis group, again, let's take a look. Smaller time frame, see what's going on. We're extending down into C leg. So where is it going to end? I mean, you have a very high, you know, it's gonna, the closer you get, the lower your risk is, and the higher the reward, because you could really come out of this in a wave 3. But let's see, wave 4 hour. I think you need more downside. It looks like you need more downside to erase divergence, right? It looks like you need to come back down, take out this low, and then the low will be in the Nubis. CrowdStrike, not too surprising. We had this in an X wave finishing up at 390, something like that. Now it's starting its leg down here. It could already be probably inside of its ABC, but I actually want to take a look at it on the smaller time frames. Okay. Yeah, it could just be finishing A here. A could be finished. Now you're gonna get some sort of B, and then a C, right? So, and then if it's shallow, this will be essentially your target. If it's a bigger B wave, it could chop around more and raise a short-term target higher. So that's basically it. You know, we're in a full-on market panic. Those who have capital, we're going to be deploying it at the correct times, and then hopefully we can grab some nice winners and hold on to them for a while. And if the market wants to formulate a low, we could have a big rally higher to new all-time highs again. But you know, there's lots of news at the moment, so again, I don't really listen to the news. I kind of just watch what comes out. That's actual facts, and I trade what's in front of me. Right now, Bitcoin's taking a leg down here. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick, because I do think Bitcoin could get some sort of flash crash over the weekend and really screw over the GameStop investors who FOMO'd in on Friday. Because you got to be careful in situations like that, right? You can't just listen to what the news is saying and, oh, it's going to be fine. You know, you got to be careful. All right, let's take a look at the 15-minute chart here. Move this down nicely, and then we'll move this. I don't usually do crypto here, but I'm doing crypto now. Okay, so we're right at resistance here. We have a 45-minute. No, I'll add the 15-minute later. Anyways, that's kind of it right now, guys. I still think the markets could have some downside, but it seems to be slowing down, right? I mean, not really right now, but I saw, and I say it could be. It's not. I'm not saying shit. It's not slowing down right now, but I'm seeing signs that it could slow down. You know, we saw some dark pool orders come in on the SPY and triple Qs and the Dow Jones, but that could be just be shorts covering, not really people buying. So again, we'll see what happens on Monday. There's still some more bullshit news could come out on the weekends. Peace.